Today, we're diving into an engine of weather so powerful it dictates the lives of over 1 billion people. It can bring life-giving rain and devastating floods, scorching heat and bitter cold, all within the borders of a single country. This is the story of India's incredible climate engine.
But to really get it, let's start with a puzzle. You see, India is a land of just incredible climatic contradictions. I mean, you can find pretty much every kind of weather imaginable here. All right, let's just talk temperature for a second. In the deserts of Rajasthan, the summer sun can crank the heat up to a blistering 50 degrees Celsius. At the very same time, up in the mountains of Dras, a winter night can plummet to a bone-chilling -45. That is a 95-degree difference in the same country. Wild. And guess what? It's the exact same story with rain. One spot can get absolutely hammered, with over 400 centimeters of rain a year, making it one of the wettest places on the entire planet. But then, another part of the country, this high-altitude desert, might barely see 10 centimeters all year long.
So you gotta ask, right? How can one single country have frozen mountains and scorching deserts, lush rainforests, and bone-dry plains? Well, the answer isn't a dozen different things. It's one single powerful force.
So it's time to meet the star of our show, the force that orchestrates this entire drama. The monsoon. It's the director, the main character, and the stage, all rolled into one.
Now, here's a super common misconception I want to clear up right away. The word monsoon doesn't actually mean rain. It comes from the Arabic word mawsim, which just means season. What a monsoon really is a massive seasonal reversal of the winds. The rain, that's just the spectacular result of that epic shift. And that reversal, that's the key to this whole mystery.
Okay, but before we follow the monsoon on its incredible journey, we need to quickly go over the basic rules that control climate anywhere on Earth. Think of these as the fundamental laws of weather physics. So, any climate, anywhere, is controlled by 6 main things: latitude, altitude, pressure and wind, how far you are from the sea, ocean currents, and big physical barriers like mountains. The monsoon, well, it's a master conductor that uses every single one of these to create India's completely unique climate.
So, how does it all come together? Well, our story really kicks off over the warm tropical oceans as we follow the monsoon on its grand journey all the way to the Indian subcontinent. The engine driving this whole thing is actually a pretty simple 3-step process. First, the summer sun beats down on the huge Asian landmass, and it heats up way faster than the ocean. This creates a giant zone of low pressure. Step 2, the Indian Ocean around it stays cooler, which means it keeps a zone of high pressure. And third, this is just basic physics, wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. So all that moisture-packed air over the ocean starts a massive rush toward the land. But this rush of wind isn't just random, okay? There are these huge forces guiding it. You've got this global low-pressure belt that shifts north, right over India, basically pulling the winds in. Then, the massive Tibetan Plateau heats up like a giant hot plate on a stove, supercharging the whole effect. Then you've got the Himalayas, which act like a giant wall, trapping all that moist air. And finally, and this is the real kicker, the jet stream, this super-fast river of air high up in the atmosphere, it actually moves out of the way, basically opening the front door for the monsoon to make its grand entrance.
And its arrival isn't some gentle spring shower. No, it's this explosive event they call the burst of the monsoon. Around the first week of June, it's like the heavens just open up. The rain suddenly gets intense and can go on for days and days, totally transforming the dry landscape and signaling a complete change of season.
But, you know, every good story needs a villain, right? An antagonist. For the monsoon, that villain is El Niño. Now, usually, conditions way over in the Pacific Ocean actually help make India's monsoon stronger. But every few years, this warm ocean current shows up off the coast of Peru. And that tiny change can mess with the entire global pressure system, weakening the winds and often leading to a weak, delayed monsoon or sometimes even a drought in India.
So we've seen the science, the nuts and bolts of this incredible, continent-spanning journey. But what's the ultimate impact? Why does this one weather event matter so much to over 1 billion people?
Well, because the monsoon is so much more than just weather. It is the very rhythm of life. Everything, the farming calendar that feeds the nation, the cultural festivals that celebrate the rains, the flow of the entire economy, it all revolves around this one single yearly event. Every single year, an entire subcontinent waits for its arrival.
And this brings us right back to the puzzle we started with.
Despite all that crazy diversity, the deserts, the rainforests, the ice-capped mountains, the monsoon acts as this great unifier. It connects every single corner of the country in this shared seasonal cycle of anticipation, relief, and ultimately life.
You know, the monsoon is a system that has sustained a civilization for thousands of years. It's a predictable rhythm in what can be a very unpredictable world. But that leaves us with one final and pretty urgent question for our time. As our planet's climate continues to change, how will this ancient life-giving rhythm be altered? And what on earth will that mean for the future?